When Jeffree Star decided to leave LA and move his life to a yak farm and open up his very own Star Yak Ranch, I never in a million years thought there'd actually be yak drama. People are calling Jeffree out, saying he lied about what he was gonna do with his yaks, and a lot of people are really upset.
When I'm laying on a yak and I name them, nothing's happening to them except brushing them, loving them, and feeding them. Anything else that y'all make it up in your head, it's not real.
Now, if you're a meat lover, you are going to love this. This is all USDA inspected meat. It is amazing. We have so many cuts from cube steaks to T-bones to the ground yak bitch for tacos and burgers, my favorite.
That's weird.
It's a mess, so let's get into it. Back in 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic, Jeffree decided to sell his house in Hidden Hills and head for Wyoming. This was a huge move for Jeffree because he's lived in California for his entire life. There was a lot of speculation about why Jeffree was making such a huge move. Was he trying to save on taxes? Was he dating Kanye West? Was he trying to escape the beauty community? Possibly, but it turns out he actually moved there to open up his very own ranch. Last year, Jeffree opened up his Star Yak Ranch, and he's been bringing his fans along for the journey on his Instagram. He made this entire Instagram page dedicated to these yaks. He shows his life on the farm, he introduced us to them, he names them, and he even created a makeup line centered around the yaks. A lot of people have really fallen in love with these yaks, the same way they fell in love with his Pomeranians. But as I'm sure you guys probably remember, last year there was tons of drama around what his plans for these yaks really were. Insider posted an article about the trademark that he filed, which said, Jeffree Star called his yaks majestic creatures after trademarking Star Yak Ranch butchering. The trademark included things like natural fiber and natural fiber from yaks, clothing, pet food, edible pet treats, live animals, butcher shops, butchering, and breeding and stud services for yaks. A lot of people were really upset over this and thought Jeffree was just opening up like an animal sanctuary or a hobby farm. No one thought he was actually gonna go from being a beauty YouTuber to a full-fledged farmer that sells meat. After all, Jeffree named these yaks and said they were helping him with his mental health. Would Jeffree really turn around and just kill them? Well, last year Jeffree responded and he said it was all lies. He would never kill his yaks.
And there's a lot of people making up some shit, which I've dealt with a lot, but let me straighten out the lies and misconceptions, Miss Girl. I recently trademarked Star Yak Ranch in every single category that you could do for raising animals, just because you want to always protect yourself in business. So let's say I trademark it for yarn, cheese, breeding, butchering, etc. It doesn't mean I'm doing any of those things. It just means I don't want anyone to be able to take my trademark in those categories, which people have done before. So I'm just protecting myself. So I guess a few stragglers are trying to spin up a fake story that I'm doing this and I'm doing that. Y'all, relax. When I'm laying on a yak and I name them, nothing's happening to them except brushing them, loving them, and feeding them. Anything else that y'all make it up in your head, it's not real. So you silly making up rumors, please take this soundbite and correct yourself. But yaks are such majestic creatures. There's been so many questions about what am I doing with them? What are they for? Are they for pets? Am I killing them? You guys, you will see in the video, and they're majestic creatures. They've really helped ground me.
But this video aged very, very poorly. A few weeks ago, Jeffree posted a story to his Instagram and asked if anyone has ever tried yak meat.
I also have a question for everyone out there watching this. Have anyone out there tried yak meat? It is so delicious.
And he said he was absolutely going to start selling his own yak meat.
And I know a lot of people are asking, Jeffree, are you ever going to sell yak meat? Absolutely.
Jeffree did confirm that the yak meat that he would be selling wouldn't be from the yaks that he's named and put on his Instagram.
Now, all the yaks you see with the tags and names that we train, halter, and breed, no, we're not butchering them, but we do have a meat pasture far in the back, and we're raising some, hi Tashi, we're raising some amazing animals for food.
Now, I don't think a lot of people actually saw his Instagram story because things kind of stayed quiet until he posted the actual picture of his yak meat on Instagram. He wrote, Our delicious grass-fed yak meat will be available on our online store soon, hoping for next month. And this is when people started freaking out, writing things like, why would he name them, pet them, and introduce us to them? Kind of morbid, to be honest. Screaming, cause I thought they were pets. No. Remember when he promised the yaks weren't for me, that they were pets and the most he would do is sell their fur? Wait, didn't he name them? I don't know why, this makes me sad. And he's already started selling the meat too. He had a little pop-up shop for people local to him and the turnout was huge. He's even being tagged in pictures of yak steaks from his own farm. Now, a lot of people are calling Jeffree a liar. They're saying that last year he said he would never turn his yaks into food, that they were strictly pets, and the most that he would ever do would be use their fur, which is completely harmless to the yak. What I'm gathering from people's comments is that they don't really have an issue with him raising these yaks for meat. I think the issue that people were having was that he got everyone invested in them. He sold plushies of them. He even sold makeup dedicated to them. And then he just turned around and decided to make them into food. Most people were just saying that he should have been honest and upfront about his plans from the start. But according to Jeffree, he just changed his mind, and the yaks that we're used to on his Instagram aren't being made into meat.
First of all, shout out to everyone that came down to our Yak Meat pop-up. It was amazing. There was people from all over. I was shook. Thank you for showing me love. I love this community. It's so cool. And I can't wait to start providing more food for people. Amazing grass-fed food.
Side note, please screen record this if you have memory loss.
People are allowed to change their mind. People are allowed to evolve their idea. It's so weird because I've been keeping to myself for a few years. You know, I never go on. Remember the old days with Snapchat rants? Oh my God, girl. When the beauty industry was at its height and we'd hop on here every day and But I do want to say one thing that's funny. People are so weird because it's me. It's going to be something always different, right? I'm not a hypocrite. I'm not a liar. But you don't know me. I'm me. And I bought a ranch. Months later, the idea evolved. I educated myself on where the food I was putting into my body came from. And I don't give a myself. Hi, I ate McDonald's every day. I was promoting Taco Bell like it was Chanel. Disgusting. I'm so disappointed in myself. I mean, hello. I got sponsored by Taco Bell. I did so many videos with fast food. And I'm like, that's just not me anymore. I'm a different person. So, no, I'm not a liar. I started raising yaks over a year ago, and I still have 120 pets, and the only yaks that you guys have ever seen on social media are my pets. Any tag with a name is my pet. People are so... I think if you just don't like me in general, you're just hopping on this thing today. Maybe it's Memorial Day weekend, you're bored, but I'm like, girl, stop making up in your heads. People are literally making up their own narratives. You're slaughtering Swiss Chocolate and Buster. No, they're actually right outside the window grazing on the grass, and I can't wait for their... to impregnate a lot of girls and have some amazing babies. Maybe because I've never shown the world that I've ever sold a yak before, or what I do all day. It may be a little bit of a shocker to some people, but baby, relax, take a Xanax, take a hit, go get some fresh air. Anything to not concern yourself with what I'm doing, because the world's already up, right?
He also got on Twitter and decided to bring back his 2019 Jeffree era, and he went off. He tweeted, I guess some people forget that it's okay to change your mind or evolve an idea. People are so weird, it's a trip. If you're losing sleep over me, it's time for some self-reflection. The world is so dark and ugly, why project your self-anger at me? Our country is trying to take away women's rights, and there's already so much hate on the internet every single moment. There's no way people are actually concerned about me supplying my local community with food. I've donated over 1,000 pounds of meat to shelters. Stop using the same regurgitated quote from last year when I said, all my yaks are pets. They are. But months later, I learned how healthy yak meat is, and I started to appreciate learning where my food comes from. Educate yourself and not immediately lash out. When I stopped eating fast food and started to care about my body more, I realized I wanted to take what I was doing to a different avenue as well. And it's been a beautiful experience. Not eating horrible meat from farmers that give animals growth hormones and disgusting additives. And someone replied to Jeffree and said, I think it's the idea of a publicly vegan cosmetics line versus publicly promoting meat consumption. It's a bit of a conflict of interest, no? And Jeffree said, I see no conflict. I chose to create a cosmetics line that doesn't torture and test on animals. We all know I've never claimed to be vegan. It's about evolving in the beauty industry and moving past the old ways. Trust me, I grew up in a huge city and didn't understand the culture of hunting and providing for your family with food for a year. I never gave a fuck where the food came from that I was putting in my body. I love getting older and expanding my knowledge. People are scary, bro. They literally make up their own narratives to create chaos. I'll say this one more time. Every yak on my social media with a name is my pet. I don't name my food. And then someone replied to Jeffree and said, 12-year-olds on Twitter don't understand ranching. Not surprised. And Jeffree said, they were born with iPads in their hands and no parents to love them. When I was a kid, we were outside every day getting exercise, not glued to a screen writing strangers horrible comments. Welcome to the new world. Grasping at straws on Memorial Day weekend. We all know I used to crave drama. Now, I just keep to myself and I'm genuinely happy. I know that upsets some people. He also talked to Insider, who were actually the ones to break the news last year that he filed for butchering. He told Insider, people keep referencing for the past 24 hours, well, Jeffree, a year ago, you said you were only going to use your pets for XYZ. But I think people forget that you can also change your mind, adding that his business plan has evolved within the last year. People keep making jokes like, are you butchering Swiss Chocolate and Buster? Jeffree said, any yak with a name tag is our pet, and we do have a pasture in the back of my land where we're just making food. The thought of raising an animal in peace and happiness from pasture to plate is something you don't learn about living in a big city like LA. He went on to say, it may be a little shocking to people, but it feels natural to me. So yeah, did I ever think Jeffree Star would turn into a yak meat farmer? Absolutely not, but here we are. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think about everything down below. How do you guys feel about Jeffree selling yak meat? And do you think the backlash is warranted, or are people probably just being hypocritical and still eating burgers and Taco Bell? Let me know, and I'll see you next time.